Hi you guys and welcome to this episode. This is week 12 of my creative heart prompt journey and we are still exploring some acrylic techniques because these are the things that we use in order to improve our art, right? So currently I'm exploring dry brushing, or also known as scumbling. So this is what I used. This technique is used to bring in some shadows and to enrich areas of your art without covering up everything on the underneath. So in this week's episode, I'm going to show you how I use dry brushing and scumbling in my art journal to create this beautiful page. So without any further ado, I'm going to turn the camera around and point it down at the table and let me show you how. Hi, my name is Gideon. I'm also known as Gideon Slight. Welcome to my studio, and I'm your creatively fit coach. So join me now. Right, let's get to it. Today is going to be lots of fun as we explore dry brushing in our art journal. But dry brushing is also known as scumbling. So what do you need for dry brushing? Is there any specialized tools? Well, yes, there is, but you don't necessarily need to have this. In fact, I've only recently invested some money in what is known as a gallery goat mop brush, and you get them in a variety of sizes. And what you will notice about this mop brush is, number one, is it has a very rounded head, but there's no point. And also then the hair of this particular brush is goat hair. So this can absorb a lot of water and carry a lot of water. It is one of the brushes that is used with, or can be used with watercolor or with other blending techniques in acrylic. And one of them is dry brushing or scumbling. So I will show you today how this little brush can make your life a lot easier if you have it in your kit. But what if you don't? For dry brushing, you obviously can use any brush in your arsenal. The idea is just that you do not activate your brush with water before the time, hence the term dry brushing. But one of the brushes that does give you a little bit of a better effect is brushes that is made of this very stiff kind of bristle. It is not a synthetic bristle. This bristle can absorb quite a lot of water as well. So if you do use a brush like this, it's always a good idea to have a bit of a kitchen towel and then just to dab most of the water out, because water control in any medium is really a big secret that you need to be aware of. How much paint you put on your brush, how much water is held in the bristles, can all contribute towards a successful technique in the end of the day, or a disaster. Alrighty then, so I'm going to attempt to show you guys today with this hog kind of bristle. That's great for dry brushing because it's quite a stiff brush, and you can see when you scribble this or scumble this on your page that the bristles don't move a lot. Hi you guys, I didn't realize that my camera was not focused on my page. I do have a bit of a problem sometimes with the weight of my phone, and it tilted the lens and it was focused on everything but what I showed you. So just for the sake of technique, I'm coming right back to my test page and I will showcase for you exactly how I use these two brushes to do my scumbling or dry brush technique. Let's start with this ball bristle brush. I was looking for the word and maybe that's exactly what needed to happen. So this is ball bristle, professional Dollar and Ronnie, but you can get student grade of ball bristle brushes from your local art supply store. So like I said, when you want to dry brush and bring in more color to your page, like I did on the journal today, when we started, this was completely different. So using these dry brush scumbling techniques, I was able to add all of these beautiful varieties. So let me show you what I did. So the most important thing that I wanted you to be aware of when you do dry brushing is don't activate your brush with water, because that's going to give you a completely different look and feel. So my brush is dry and I need very little paint on my brush. So when I get started with my process, I do remove most of the paint. You can also use a kitchen towel just to remove any paint that will make it too wet. This is a dry brush technique. And then you can come to the area that you want to enhance with your paint, and it is circular, round, scumbling kind of movements that you make with your brush, and that's going to add a bit of a wash. Let's use a bit of a different color here, and I'm going to add a bit of white to it as well so that it's a little bit more clear and obvious for you guys. Again, too much paint on my paintbrush, so I'm going to come to my kitchen towel and remove everything that is too much. And now you can begin to see how in a blush-like way I was able to add a little bit more color to my page without losing everything on the underneath. So you can see with this technique that it is quite see-through. It gives me a blush-like effect, and that is how I'm able to change direction, add more color, depth and dimension to my page without completely covering everything up on the underneath. So one of my favorite artists that used dry brushing and scumbling quite a bit in his work was Monet. When you look at his beautiful lily pond paintings, you are able to see how masterfully he implemented dry brushing and scumbling to add to this beautiful depth and atmospheric vibe to his painting by using this technique. So another way or place that you will use this technique quite a bit is when you are painting clouds or atmospheric conditions like mist or fog. When you really need a soft blend fusing effect, you will definitely be using the dry brushing. Now let's look at this little miracle brush. It is a 1/2 inch gallery goat mop, and I absolutely love my mops. I just recently got it. Here is a bigger one that I'm using on my canvases. So this is a very useful mop brush, but it's something that I only recently added to my collection. So I've been using the HeART brush for my blending mostly. When you use your mop brush, same idea, make sure that it's dry, because goat hair can carry a lot of water. So if you are not sure, if you're having too much paint on your brush, just use a corner or a rub off somewhere just to get most of the paint off. I'm just using white here. And dry brushing really, if you go into it very technically, they will tell you that it's best to use a lighter color on top of a darker color. So I'm using my mop brush here just like I would to apply blusher on your face if you do makeup. So you can see it really gives me a beautiful blended diffused kind of color application that's easy to blend colors into color. Now another thing that I showed you guys this morning that didn't quite pan out was I showed you guys this previous painting of mine. In fact, this was part of my demonstration this morning on my Facebook group. I really pulled this forward and I showed you guys these beautiful sharp edges on the inside and the diffused part on the outside. Now that I created using my little wedge that I apply paint with. This is a professional catalyst wedge. I absolutely love these because you can drag your paint around on your canvas, but you can also use the edge. So this is how I did this. I placed it on the edge. I used my dry brush technique and I moved my edge along. So I'm able to have a very clean line where I want one, but on the other side I can blend to my heart's content until I'm happy with the effect that it's given me. So that's just another way that you could use a contrast in blending and using scumbling or dry brushing in combination with a hard edge. You could also use masking tape, of course, is another way to do that. And you also get professional edgers at the hardware store that painters use in interior design in order to have a clean edge, and saves you a lot of time so that you don't have to mask areas off before you can use your scumbling or dry brushing technique. Right, now that we've done some dry brushing, I've gone to my little scrapbook and I found some beautiful elements that I would like to add as a focus to my page. This beautiful print I pulled off from an incense box. I mean, this art is incredible. and the incense is used up, and most people will just throw these things away. This is just too beautiful to throw away, and it connects really beautifully with all of my art and the themes that I feel speaks to me. So I'm going to use this as a bit of a collage element on this page. These little lotus flowers are also pulled from the incense box, so I think these colors are really mirrored beautifully here with the dry brushing scumbling technique that I showed you guys. So I'm going to stick this down and add some beauty to this page, so that when I come to this page I'm reminded of being mindful and all of the interesting and beautiful elements and symbology, metaphoric information that the tiger brings. It was one of the things that we've painted last year in painting of the park, and it was just such a powerful day to reminder to trust our own intuition. So whenever I see the tiger now, I'm reminded of that awesome day when we painted the tiger in the park, and that just brings more meaning to my journal for me. So this is what I'm going to be doing next. So I've used a little bit more gold to just bring some of the layers together, but I still feel that my collage element is standing out too much. So I've just decided to use a little bit of this carmine red, added a bit of water to improve the fluidity of the paint, and I just want to protect my tiger, at least most of it, from any splatter, because that's exactly what I'm gonna do now, is splatter. I love splatter. It's one of my favorite techniques. I love to splatter paint. Let's do the same with a bit of turquoise as well. I'm just using enough water there so that we can get the paint to move. That's awesome. Shall we add a bit of gold as well? Why not? If not, why not? It's on the palette. Waste not, want not. It's my art journal. You can do with your art journal what you want to. That's the whole idea. Just have fun, express yourself, and whatever is beautiful for you, that is exactly what you should focus on. Right, we take that away. Beautiful. The main focus, the tiger, and some of this information is still visible and is pretty. And I'm just going to allow this page to dry, and I'll take a photograph for you guys. And I think I'll just redo this just for today. I wasn't happy with it. I went over it with the gold. I think it looks even worse with that. So again, integrating layers is a way to show you if you do something that you don't like, you can always paint over it and change it. Nothing is set in stone. So I'm going to allow this to dry, and I think I'm going to come in with a darker marker on top of this, just to bring that graffiti a little bit forward, reminding me to live just for today. So thank you guys for tuning in. I will see you guys again next week for my next episode, when we will be exploring another acrylic technique. And there you have it. Today we played with dry brushing or scumbling in order to create these beautiful diffused areas that is rich in color and vibrancy, and really adds a lot of depth to all of the multiple layers that makes a collage entry into your journal like this a success. So if you've been wanting to create some beautiful depth and variety in your paintings, and you just don't know how they were able to create such beautiful soft blends, then this video is for you. Check out how to use the dry brush and scumbling technique today, and when you use it in your art journal or in your art projects, please take a photograph and share it with me on the Creative Heart. And I will see you guys next week for another installment of the Creative Heart. I'll see you guys then. Bye bye for now.